Hello world, it's Birdo Prey 5, Qapla, and welcome to my review of Star Trek Picard, Season 2, Episode 6, 2 of 1. So, last time, they were in the middle of the maximum security gala, whatever that is, and they were having to try and protect Renee Picard, Captain Picard's great-great-great-great-grand aunt from herself, and a Q pretending to play her therapist, who is somehow, for some reason, trying to talk her out of heading the mission to Europa, where she discovers a sentient amoeba, or something to that effect. Anyway, Q in the past, somehow not having any powers to do anything except produce, apparently, medication, has blackmailed, and not really blackmailed, has approached Adam Soong, Dr. Soong, who created Data's great grandfather. At this point in time, the Soongs were doing genetic research instead of androids, as it was discovered in Star Trek Enterprise. So Dr. Soong created apparently tried to create kids, and the only one that's left is the daughter. And apparently she didn't know until this episode coming up, episode 6, that she was a genetic freak. She had the ability to Google herself and her father, but just never did until today. Anyway, let's not get ahead of ourselves. The short episode opens with Picard laying on the ground. Clearly something had gone wrong. He looks like he's sick or ill. We'll find out he actually got hit by a car. So he's laying on the ground, and Rios, Raffi, not-Laris are all there with him trying to figure out what happened. And then we get 34 minutes earlier. So 34 minutes earlier, he's at the gala, he's talking with not-Laris, and not-Laris is saying, "You called me Laris again. Who's this Laris to you?" And he's like, "Oh, she's absolutely nobody." And she's like, "Oh, good. Now I know you're lying, because now I know how you lie, because obviously Laris is of importance to him. Why would he have lied about it? I don't know, but it gives not-Laris that good line to say, now I know when you're lying." So, it is such a ridiculous plot that it's maximum security gala. So Jurati allowed herself to be caught, and so this way she could be in position to put their info in the database. It made no sense that they were going to allow her to just sit in the security room all night, because that's what you do with hackers, I guess. You bring them to your security room and just chain them up and let them watch everything you do. No police, nobody's ever called. So Jurati is allowed to pull out of her, I don't know, her leg or her bag, a futuristic weapon or whatever. She's able to do I thought she said like an EMP pulse, but that shouldn't knock out humans. So I don't know what she sprayed, but obviously nobody checked her for any weapons. Certainly nothing, any futuristic weapons. The Borg Queen is in Jurati's mind at this point, because what we found out last week was the Borg Queen slipped herself into Jurati's body just as the Borg Queen was dying. Anyway, Jurati literally is late to update the database, so Rios is being turned away, and the guard's like, "You don't look like a Southern doctor." And I don't know if that was a Dr. McCoy reference. I think it was. maybe they don't know. Maybe they don't know McCoy was a Southern doctor. Anyway, so Rios does a fake Southern accent. He's like, maybe you should check again. And of course, by the time they check again, Jurati has put, and I guess they just happened to have a USB stick on the ship, because maybe USB sticks are still being used 200 years in the future, 400 years in the future. They are literally the medium that will never die. So she puts a USB stick into this computer, and it uploads their correct fake personas instantly to this database. So Rios, Picard, not-Laris, and everyone else, Seven, Raffi, they can all come into the gala. And then we're told now, exposition. Now we don't have to worry about the internal tracking monitors. What is the plan? So after Jurati and the Borg Queen, who is inside Jurati's head, knock out the two and only two people we ever see in the security control room, what's their plan from there? Because the Borg Queen just says, well, they're going to wake up with some minor loss of memory. And then what? Are they not going to remember that they had somebody in a red dress chained down behind them? Are they not going to see that she physically broke out of the steel handcuffs? The Borg Queen gave Jurati the strength to break through steel handcuffs somehow. You would think the bones would break before her muscles could, but no. Jurati can just break these handcuffs because the Borg Queen gifted her superpower for a short time. Then what? Then what are you going to do? What are you going to do when these people wake up? What are you going to do? Nobody has any ideas. Nobody cares. They didn't care. They just needed to be done with it. So now we see the same picture we saw before, but now it's 26 minutes earlier. And we see Picard has been hit or is on his back, and he's thinking about his mother and his time as a kid. And now, 26 minutes earlier, he was looking at his niece, great aunt Picard, Aunt Renee Picard, and we hear somebody yelling Picard, and of course you think, oh, they mean Captain Picard, but no, they mean the aunt. She's being called to go on stage, take some pictures, and Laris and Picard, Captain Picard, are talking, and Laris has never met her in person because for some reason it's their trade, or she says that not-Laris says that she has to be a ghost. You know, she can't be seen. She can only work from the shadows. That's a terrible way to save somebody's life. And frankly, it's not working. Because if it had worked, then Picard wouldn't have needed to come to the past to fix it. So why would she even be continuing to work like this? Either she believes Picard or not. If she believes Picard, then she's got to do everything she can to save Renee. And to be honest, I don't think not-Laris is even into it. She's like, I don't know. She's like, we just need to keep her safe for, an hour or 3 hours until she goes into quarantine. Okay, so we've got the whole gala going on. We've got Jurati now looking. Every time Jurati looks at a reflection, the Borg Queen is there. The Borg Queen and Jurati are talking. And again, Jurati is just talking to no one, and no one seems to notice or care. Why would this fairly attractive blonde woman in a red dress not have anybody approach her all night except the people she already knows. And again, how is it that we're supposed to believe that Renee Picard, a young, attractive woman, again, has nobody approach her all night? All night, except later when it needs to be people from the mission. Nobody tries to talk to her. Nobody, I mean, the only people, the university, whoever is paying for this, yeah, they want to take a picture with one donor. That seems to be it. Other than that, nobody gives a shit. We see Raffi refusing some whiskey. So I guess this is the whole Raffi is fighting her demons, that she's an addict. So because she was a space weed addict, I guess she's also an alcoholic addict. So she can't do alcohol. She can't do space weed. She can't do any of that. If that's true, then okay. We didn't get any type of vibes that she was an alcoholic or that she was a gambler or any of those. It was just that her only real problem was space weed. And honestly, the only reason that was a problem was because she was supposedly paranoid on it. But as it turns out, she was never paranoid to begin with. She was absolutely right about the Romulans and this fake plan and this AI from the past. She was right. She was absolutely right. And I granted her son might not give a shit because it still meant she wasn't home all those times, but she was right. So she really didn't have a problem. The problem was other people. Why are they trying to make Raffi look like the loser? If anything, she should be considered the winner. She was smarter than everybody else. I don't think so, but that's their own writing would have confirmed they're smarter. Instead, so Raffi is telling Rios how nice it is to see Seven without her Borg baggage. So she's having a good time sociably. And yes, that's true. 7 of 9, Jeri Ryan would have a good time sociably, no doubt, in any century. Raffi is again seeing Elnor, not really Elnor, but Elnor. They stick him in for a quick scene, and then she double checks, and he's not there. But once again, yeah. So Picard is asking not-Laris, does she always drink like this? Because she's drinking quite a bit, and not-Laris says, well, it's her. She's going into quarantine in the morning. Maybe it's just her last hurrah. And, of course, she's texting her therapist, her Q therapist. She's saying she's not ready for this mission. No, she wants out. Q is urging her to quit. The mission commander and her boss are calling her over, and Picard himself is going to go talk to Renee, and not-Laris is like, what if she's not ready? And he says, maybe it's you that's not ready. This is her destiny. You've done a good job. No, she hasn't done a good job. If she was doing a good job, you wouldn't be there. Anyway, that tells not-Laris. He's like, you're right. Picard says they need Dr. Jurati. He speaks his language, meaning the guy trying to get a hold of Renee. So the problem is Jurati is talking to the Borg Queen, has shut off her communicator, so she's not responding to Picard. Rios finds her and says, "Is your communicator broken? Because we were trying to get a hold of you." She's like, "She must have turned it off." So Rios says, "Are you doing okay?" And he's like, "You can lean on me if you need to." And Jurati's like, "Oh, you were great that way." And she's reminiscing about how much she loved him. And like their eyebrows are doing that thing they do. And now Rios is getting a little out of it. And he's like, "I care about you." And the Borg Queen is talking in her ear, like, "Don't let the fear get in your way." And then the Borg Queen says, "Allow me." And Jurati pulls Rios by the necktie and kisses him. And Rios is like, "Ooh." And Jurati runs away and says, "I'm not myself tonight." Because she's the Borg Queen. Because the Borg Queen is about to take over her body. Literally. So Renee is still drinking shot after shot after shot. Nobody is looking at her. And she keeps going back to the simulator that we saw her in a couple days ago. Well, I don't even know. Was it a day ago? Was it one day? Was it hours ago? I don't know. It feels like it was days ago, but if it was, then they'd be past their time. Anyway, she just gets frustrated and leaves. And wouldn't you know it, Brent Spiner finally sees Picard. He says he introduces himself as Adam Soong. And he says, "We have a friend in common, Mr. Q." And Picard is like, "Q's no friend of mine." And he's like, "That's what he said about you." He's like, he doesn't want anything to do with them. He's saying. So anyway, what Q told Dr. Soong to do at the end of last week's episode, which we didn't get to see, happened off screen, was that Dr. Soong has to get rid of an obstacle for Q. And he's like, "You don't understand who you're dealing with." And Dr. Soong is like, "Neither do you." And right away, the other people come over and says, "Great, thank you for your great donation to this mission. Welcome to the board of directors." Literally, again, yesterday, if not earlier today, Soong was thrown out of whatever university he was affiliated with. His kid saw the newspaper headlines, "Mad scientist disgraced," blah, blah, blah. There is no way in a billion kajillion years, okay, this is the most upsetting. There is no way that they would allow him into this fucking building, let alone thank him and let him on the team. He was just canceled in front of the whole fucking world. And now we're supposed to believe that he is the number one, top of the line, top of the heap person now in charge of the Europa mission? No, he wouldn't be allowed in 100 miles of this place. It's not going to happen. So now it's 14 minutes now before Picard has his problem. Anyway, Picard is running after Renee, trying to find her. Dr. Soong decided that he is going to get Picard away. He told Picard that his mission is to get Renee not to go on the Europa mission. And oh my God, it goes from bad to worse. The Borg Queen shuts off all the power. The Borg Queen shuts off all the power in the entire gala so that Jurati would start singing. Jurati starts singing in a very good voice. And I guess I should have known she had a good voice because she was something to me. But now the electricity all the electricity that comes back on is only for a fucking spotlight. All the power is out, but a spotlight turns on so that, and the person operating the spotlight just knows to follow Jurati because this woman just starts singing out of nowhere, and the band works because I guess the band, they don't have electric equipment. It's real, actual air instruments. So Jurati's just fucking singing a great song, but something that would be more at home from the TV show Lucifer. Just a random musical interlude. So everybody's clapping for Jurati, and she takes a bow, and she takes a second bow, and the Borg Queen is on stage with her. Of course, it's only in her mind. And she's like, I'm proud of you, Agnes. She's like, thank you for those endorphins. So it turns out this was all a trick by the Borg Queen. The Borg Queen is now taking over Agnes's mind. She has the endorphin she needed. She's going to steer the ship for a while, which means take over the body. And Jurati's like, nope, I'm in control. And the Borg Queen says, not anymore, you're not. And you see Jurati's eyes go black for a second, indicating the Borg Queen has taken over. Picard chased Renee down a hallway with astronauts, and she's like, I want to be alone. Please don't talk to me. And Picard is like, well, when I find out when I'm having problems, it helps to talk about something else. And she's like, well, any suggestions? And he says, look up, which is what his mother always said. And there's the future shuttle flying above her. And he's like, can you tell me about that shuttle? She calls her Spike because she has a kick-ass pair of engines that use less fuel. So then she's like, she doesn't mean offense, but you seem a little old to be a security guard, which is what he's pretending to be. He's like, yeah, I am a little old, but I am the wisest of them all. Oh. She's like, now you're thinking to let anyone be an astronaut these days. And Picard's like, sometimes those who shine the brightest feel a fear and melancholy other people can't understand. You're so good that nobody can understand that how terrible you feel when you feel bad. You are so great that the us normal people can't even understand what it's like when you feel shitty. It reminds Picard of his mother. She loved the stars, and she too struggled. Of course, she struggled with not getting her face slapped in every night. You struggle with not knowing if you're ready to fly a mission to Europa or Io. Which is it? Because they're not the same flights. Oh, Picard is telling her how smart she is. And she's like, so what are you afraid of? And he's like, I can't even begin. Well, start. Borg. She's like, you found a way to live with it. No, you didn't. You died. You're dead. You're dead twice. He's saying, in the darkest hour, there's always a little glimmer, even if it's just tiny. Trust that light. So his advice is move to the light. Oh, your mother was very lucky to have you, says Renee. And we get another throwback to his mother being beat to shit up by his dad. Picard says, I almost forgot. I was sent to retrieve you. They want all the astronauts on stage. Are you going to be coming? And so that's his roundabout way to saying, are you going to be going on the mission? And of course, Renee says, I will. Now she will. And so she takes Picard's arm, and they walk down the hall, and Renee Picard looks back at an astronaut, and I was thinking Q or somebody was going to be behind it. Nothing. I don't know why they had her look back. So now we see Dr. Soong, who we thought his move. He told the director, whoever was there, that Captain Picard was a dangerous man, and that's what started the security looking for him. And that's at that time is when the Borg Queen happened to cut power now she didn't know she was cutting power to help Picard. That was just a wonderful coincidence that they cut power so that Picard could get away. Because had the power not gone out, presumably Picard would have been taken into custody or something, for breaking in to a top security function. But no, so now it turns out Adam Soong was just going to drive down Renee Picard with his car. That was his plan. Anyway, Captain Picard pushes Renee Picard out of the way at the last second, and Captain Picard takes the car hit. So they're saying, now what are we going to do? Are we going to take him to see a doctor? It's like, no, we can't take him to a hospital. And Rios says the biobed is not a doctor. It was last season, right? It had a medical hologram. Where did the medical hologram go, Rios? So they said that whatever, there should be holograms. Now there's no holograms. I don't know. The biobed is a hologram. So where do they go? They go back to the woman doctor's office clinic. Anyway, Renee was there. Renee heard all this, and nobody talked about how did Renee just leave? Renee, she's not being held by police. She was the only witness to a near fatal accident. In fact, how are they allowed to get away? This is the biggest event going on. It's maximum security, whatever the hell that means. And literally everybody walks away, apparently with a guy. They take him to a clinic, who knows where in Los Angeles. It is so fucking ridiculous. It is so beyond fucking stupid. Then Adam Soong gets home, and the daughter's like, oh my God, what happened? And he's like, I'm fine. All my life, this is the first time he starts talking about how shitty he is. Not that he's shitty, but he put his whole life to medicine and taking risks. And she's like, were you driving? Do I have to call somebody? Was he not allowed to drive? He let himself believe that you would make it. And after everything he did, realize what he's capable of doing. He still failed. He still couldn't kill Renee Picard. And he's touching Soji on the face, not Soji, excuse me, Corey on the face. And he's like, you're my life's work. And he's like, he managed to stop Collateral, not her. And Corey is like, Dad, it's me. Why? Tell me why. What's going on? And he's going on nonsense about the why matters in life. The why matters. So he's like, it's all about saving you, my life's work. And this is where Corey decides that she better Google last night's. She's like, dear Dad, be honest with me. He just walks away. So Corey decides she's going to check on his work, which she could have done at any time her entire life, and apparently just chose tonight to do it first. So then we're back at the clinic for the illegal people usually treated. The doctor came in the middle of the night, said she's stable. Earlier they asked if he had any transplants, and they said, yeah, he had all the transplants. She's like, she had to administer the shock paddles to Picard, which you would think shouldn't be necessary since he has that spoofy new robot body, or even more interesting that there wouldn't be a heart. But fine, he's got the human robot body, but he's not quite human, because when she administers the shocks to his heart, it somehow bounces back and sparks out her defibrillator. Now, she doesn't seem upset that they destroyed an expensive piece of equipment that, she doesn't have a hell of a lot of, I'm sure, being she's already trying to run this place on zero budget to begin with. But she asks Rios, she's like, I've never seen a defibrillator work like that. Who are you? And Rios is like, we're the good guys. And she's like, nope, good guys never say that. I don't know. What do you answer to that? What do you answer? He also tried to blame the defibrillator on her son. Maybe not the best thing to do in the same conversation. He's like, maybe your son was playing with the defibrillator. Right. Not the best thing. So Corey, aka Soji, finally Googles her dad, Adam Soong, and now she realizes Adam Soong banned following ethics violation. Adam Soong banned for being mad scientist, for overuse of eugenics, blah, 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 genetic experiments. And she, mad scientist, oh my God. And then she has a folder of videos, and every video, it looks like a young Soji as a kid, but they're not her, or Corey. She's like, I don't remember this. And it turns out she had dozens of sisters, and every single one of them died. She's the last one. And it's obviously very disturbing, because she didn't know that she was one of 100 or 17 or 25 little girls. All these other girls are dead, and she's the last one. Only today was the first day she decided to go looking through her dad's computer. Makes no sense. So we find that she had a sister, Persephone. She died 1 month old. A bunch of other ones died. A 3-year-old dies. A 4-year-old dies. It's very sad. But I mean, why is she only looking through these for the first time? How do you keep this type of inquisitiveness out? Curiosity. How do you keep this curiosity down? So now the Soong is talking about how there's only one left, and I will do anything in my power to make sure she lives. My Corey. And she's like, oh my God, what's happening? So I guess you forgot about, or you were never told you had siblings. And of course, Corey's like, Dad, what did you do? And so one final scene, we have not-Laris. So the doctor has to leave. She has to go wake up her son. So she leaves them with not-Laris, 7 of 9, Raffi, and Rios. And they find not-Laris uses her futuristic medical tools and they're looking at his brain, and they decide that this is something mental. She says she can jury rig, and I had to look that up because I thought the term was jerry rig, but apparently jury rig is the same thing. She could jury rig her device as a mind meld machine. That should make, again, no sense because she's if anything, Romulan. She's not supposed to be Romulan. She's supposed to be a human from the current 21st century. How does she know what a mind meld is? How does she know they know what a mind meld is? Nobody brought up mind meld at any point until she brings it up. She should not be the first person to bring up the term mind meld. So basically, she wants to mind meld with Picard using her device, and Raffi says no for some reason. And she's like, we've got to do it. There's no other choice. And literally, Raffi basically changes her mind after like 1 minute of arguing with not-Laris. The only person who knows anything about... she calls Q a god several times. The only person who knows anything about Q is on the, we have to get through to him. No. They don't even know where, they don't seem to care what happened to Jurati. So Rios tells her we have to try. 7 of 9 has like stopped talking. I don't even know if she had a whole fucking line in this entire episode. She's there, but I don't even remember her speaking. Like no speaking role. And then final scene of the episode, we have Jurati still in her red dress, carrying her shoes. Of course, she's the Borg Queen at this point. And she's walking down the road towards downtown Los Angeles. She's headed for that tall building that was in the first episode or second episode, wherever. For whatever reason, we get the distinct feeling that next episode, she's going to climb up to the top of that building and, I don't know, shoot her Borg Queen nodules all over the place and take over the city. This episode was a complete and utter dumpster fire. There is no redeeming qualities to this episode. Some of the episodes, even if they'd been less than interesting, at least made me curious what was going to happen next week or whatever. This is just awful. I mean, it was, if this is writing, then there's nothing to look forward to because anything could happen at any time. And like literally Jurati might just get up, become a zombie and start biting people and creating more Borg zombies. And that's could happen next week. I don't know. Renee Picard could say, oh my God, I'm pregnant and it's Q's baby. And we're like, oh my God, that could happen. I don't know. But this is the writing we're at. It's all possible. It's all possible. Picard could wake up and say, I've been Romulan my entire life. I realize now that's why I have this accent. Shaban was my best friend, and, I need to have him back. It broke. I'm gone. I'm done. It's Picard. This is why they had to put out that, don't worry guys, next season all the entire cast of TNG is coming back. Will, they didn't use character names. They used actor names. But Jonathan Frakes, Michael Dorn, LeVar Burton, Gates McFadden, Marina Sirtis, no Will Wheaton, no Will, which is fine. Though I suspect they're going to throw him a bone, since he's been doing the ready room for them for so long now. I think, Will, if they don't throw you the bone, man, you should have some man up, Will. If they don't throw you in, you better get out of there now. You better give them the finger now if they're not going to put you in next year. Also, no Miles O'Brien. No Miles Edward O'Brien. At least, not that they've said. Maybe they're saving something. Because who knows? With that, guys, this is a 0.5. Literally the lowest score. I don't think I can give a 0, but a 0.5 out of 10. 0.5 out of 10. The only plus side was that it was literally 35 minutes. 35 minutes without the previously seen or the credits. 35 minutes. I mean, it's closer to half an hour than an hour. How many more episodes could they do at 35 minutes? It's the 6th episode. There's 4 episodes left, 7, 8, 9, and 10. If they do one more episode at 35 minutes, that's like a whole hour's worth of episodes lost. It's ridiculous. But it's probably for the best at this point. Qapla all, Bird out.